Beef cattle nutrition is one of the critical aspects for profitability of a beef enterprise. When you are keeping cattle as a business, you should always consider that nutrition may contribute 70% of your total cost, and if not managed well, it can go beyond that. So, what are the requirements that these animals need for them to produce, to reproduce, and to grow well? The nutrients to consider when you are keeping a beef animal is to always make sure that your animals have got enough energy, they've got enough protein, they'll have available grazing or enough roughage, enough vitamins or essential vitamins. Then we have minerals. On top of that, these animals must have water. So these key elements in nutrition will guarantee you your success in a beef enterprise. So where do we get all those nutrients from? Your energy will come from your usual energy source, which are your grains. Then your protein. The main source of protein in a beef production enterprise would be your oil cakes and urea. Then fiber is your available grazing, or when you get your maize stover or your crop residues. Then vitamins and minerals. Some you find them in cattle premixes or base mix and in cattle additives. So all these are the main key elements when you are making a cattle feed. So what's the importance of good nutrition? So with good nutrition, you are guaranteed of your cows producing calves every year. With good nutrition, you are guaranteed of the perfect body condition of your breeding herd, as well as your bulls and your heifers. Again, good nutrition will help your animals, your young animals and growing animals, to reach their mature or reproductive weight in the expected period of time. Again, what we call calving interval will be short to about 13 to 15 months with good nutrition. On top of that, with good nutrition, you are guaranteed that a lactating mother will produce enough milk for a young one, which will give you the high winning weights and reduce the mortalities due to malnutrition. So, under beef cattle nutrition, I'm going to talk about supplementary feeding. But before that, I would want to define the two different seasons which are found in a beef production cycle during the year. So during the year, there is a summer and there is winter. Summer is characterized by green grazing, where your animals will find much of their protein and energy from green grass, but they will be lacking minerals only. Then we've got a winter period, which is the long dry period. The long dry period is characterized by dry grazing, which is poor in nutrition, but it will only give roughage to your animals. By so doing, you have to consider supplementary feeding. But winter supplementary feeding is different from summer supplementary feeding. Winter supplementary feeding, that's where we want to focus more on our animals' nutrition. Why? Because the availability of nutrients will be minimal. The availability of protein and energy will be minimal. So supplementary feeding on its own means supplying your animals with the nutrients which are lacking from the natural grazing. So what it means now is you as a farmer has to know your planning better, to the extent that you understand that in winter, which nutrients are in short supply. So the nutrients which are in short supply when our animals are getting dry grazing is protein. When this grass is dry, the crude protein percentage will be around 3% to 3.5% on better grasses. Then the energy levels will be very low because everything will be lignified in the plant residue. At the same time, we don't have to forget the need for our minerals and our vitamins on a daily basis. So a supplementary feed to use during the dry season, the long dry season, will be a supplementary feed with protein, with energy, and vitamins, minerals. On top of that, with water available 24/7. So in this case, we have our animals feeding on dry grazing. But after feeding on dry grazing, these animals are going to get a lick, which is a 45% protein. This lick is called a 5-8 keto 45 lick. So this lick will give your animals 45% crude protein, energy, and vitamins and minerals. When they get this lick and enough grazing and water, you are guaranteed of fertility throughout the year. You are guaranteed of good growth rates throughout the year. So why is it important for animals to be fertile? How do you get your animals to the best, to the top-notch fertility during the year? Right? When you are feeding beef animals, you feed for maintenance. That's number one. So when you feed for maintenance, it means the body condition that the animal is in. When you start feeding, you maintain that same body condition. Then, after feeding for maintenance, you feed for production. So what is production? So now production is whatever body condition that they are in, you feed an extra amount for them to start growing and getting into a better condition. Then, after that, you feed for reproduction. So you will not get fertility, you will not get reproduction if you don't feed for maintenance and for production. So it's very critical when you give supplements to give enough supplementary feed, enough feeding for them to get to the third stage, which is reproduction, of which reproduction, that's where your profit is.